That's really how most of it goes. Most of the people that I've seen leave school or drop out or not come back, they go to jail or they pass away.
Young men we spoke to in Columbia say when kids give up on school, they really give up on their future.
So what's stopping some teens from going to and staying in school? That's where KOMU 8's John Murphy continues our closer look at youth violence in Columbia.
We sat down at a table with Keith Mosley, Tarandon Whitaker, Caden Brandcamp, and Addo Miners. They all witnessed violent crimes in Columbia when they were kids. They're now between 17 and 20 and are in the Youth Build program at Job Point. It teaches practical trade skills and pushes students to complete a high school equivalency diploma and to get a job. But at one point, 2 were students at Battle High and 2 were at Rockbridge. None of them graduated from these public high schools.
With the local, it just feels like a competition. You can't really be comfortable at school.
But at like school, they're just there to like teach you what you need to know and then get you out of there.
Most of the time, you'll see people who just stop coming to school one day. Next thing you know, they're out on the street or they're in some news article because shots were fired or they got caught doing something and they're in prison now.
What are some of the signs that we look for in a student when they're in here in this traditional schooling environment that, okay, maybe this student needs something that looks a little different?
The biggest thing is attendance. If a student isn't showing up, there's a reason why.
Tylisha Dade is the assistant principal at Battle High School. I joined her, CPS Chief Academic Officer Adam Taylor, and Director of Workforce Development Katie Siegel in the Battle cafeteria right after the lunch period to find out what the district is doing to keep kids in the classroom.
We try to send personal notes saying, hey, we've missed you, we haven't seen you in a while, we'll be glad when you get back to school. And when they come back, we don't ask them 5,000 questions. We tell them, just like Mario Battle did, we're glad you're here.
CPS is the 4th largest school district in the state. Compared to the 3 other larger districts in Missouri, it has the 2nd best attendance rate, with over 76% of students at school at least 90% of the time. But it has the highest dropout rate at 2.7%. Most of the students enrolled in the Youth Build program at Job Point are dropouts.
Job Point here, they teach you what it is to live and be a part of a family. Like you actually feel like you could have a life instead of just work. It's not just bust down on studies 24/7. It's fun.
They definitely saw potential, like the potential that we could have and seeing us, and then they help us get there.
Columbia Public Schools is now incorporating more learning like this into its curriculum.
Through different programs and partnerships within the community, we've been able to establish several programs that not only bring kids back in our building as functioning students on path to graduate, but also provide them a career pathway that's guided by the adults in the building and that connects them to community agencies that'll be there for them after they graduate.
Siegel oversees a partnership between the school district and more than 60 organizations and businesses that provide training, internships, and apprenticeships for students. CPS also pays for several students who are in the Youth Build program.
I think a lot of our workforce development efforts that we've established as a district has helped contribute to the idea of kids returning that are not coming to school.
Siegel says many students participating in these outside learning environments were already doing well in traditional school. However, sometimes the schools have to take students out of the classroom. What does that look like when we've got disciplinary problems here at school? Are suspensions common? What does it take to get to an expulsion?
Now, of course, we're going to follow our DESE guidelines and we're going to support things that are of violence or, say, school violations, and we will have very difficult conversations with families about what their education looks like. But from an expulsion standpoint, that's just not something we really take into consideration because our goal is to educate the whole kid.
Why is it important not to give up on any kid?
Because when you give up on a kid, you give up on yourself. We have to think about like what we went through. I think about if I didn't have my 3rd grade teacher who pushed me and told me that I was capable, and then getting to high school and finding those adults that cheered me on, I wouldn't be sitting here today having this conversation with you. And I will go to bat for a kid every step of the way, and I will also hold them accountable when they're not right and they're doing things wrong. And if we don't hold them accountable when they're making mistakes, they'll never understand how to not make that mistake again.
The story doesn't end there. We've heard from the schools, but what happens when kids are at home?
Who are the role models for you all?
We don't have none.
How can our community step up to support kids who need it most? Our closer look at youth violence continues tonight at